Intrigue Media. Get noticed, get found.
Awesome. Good to go. All right. So my presentation today, LinkedIn 201, is going to be on free and paid tools on LinkedIn. So the reason I'm creating this presentation is basically to give the LinkedIn sales perspective and hopefully create some clarity for account managers and also for our ops team around where does LinkedIn fall in the sales process? Specifically, where do the different free and paid features on LinkedIn fall, and what areas can they help out with? So this is all part of becoming LinkedIn Jedi as we discover how to use this social media platform most effectively. So this is the LinkedIn marketing funnel. So it looks sort of similar to ours, but LinkedIn has broken it down in a very specific way, which is sort of unique to them. And this is something that I've encountered watching a bunch of different LinkedIn webinars. So they see a lot of their features falling here along the reach and nurture end of the spectrum, with acquiring new leads and obviously being the end goal of using all of these free and paid tools. So we're just going to go through the funnel and sort of talk about the different ways we can reach people. So the first, and both of these tools are free, the first platform, which will sort of be foundation for reaching out to people on LinkedIn, will be either a personal profile or a company page, and 1 to 10 associated showcase pages. So there are different features available through each of these, but if you're signing an account, the first thing you want to figure out is whether you're going to be using a personal profile or a company page to connect with people on LinkedIn, or both. So if we're using a personal profile, we have a couple of free LinkedIn tools that we can use. Obviously, at the very beginning, you got just like posting on LinkedIn, but then you also have shares, and then for people who are already connected to you and who you want to nurture more of a relationship with, you have LinkedIn Pulse, which is LinkedIn's blogging platform, which has really been taking off recently. Got a lot of big names on it, and it's really cool. Like if you just browse a little bit on LinkedIn Pulse, there's a lot going on right now. So I think it's definitely an area worth exploring, and it's free, so that's cool.
That's actually what we're doing for Mark.
Yeah. So here's an example. LinkedIn Pulse Paul totally read my mind. This was one of Mark's LinkedIn Pulse blogs, Story Behind Life Insurance. If you want to go take a read, feel free. So this story got 480 views, 28 likes, 2 comments, which is by far the best results he got on any of his posts so far. Still not hitting Vanessa's high point, which was on the one LinkedIn Pulse post, she sent 1,000 views and 80 likes.
Nice. Mic drop. It was 2014.
Was it 2,000? Really?
No, 2014 I did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's, if you can go viral on Pulse, you can really get a lot more audience engagement. For example, most of the Mark Murray posts we've done have gotten around 100 views and like 5 to 10 likes. But what we did with this one was it was the one we sort of pushed through the team. So probably half of those likes come from our team members. But as a result, we've been able to get 4 times the engagement on there by sort of virally disseminating it through all of our networks. So that's a cool little piece. This is sharing on LinkedIn. So if you notice on pretty much all the sites we build, we have a little plugin that creates share buttons. If you click the LinkedIn share button, it will bring up this page, which gives you the option to do a personal share, which can also go straight to Twitter, or to share to as many groups, I think up to 50 groups at one time, and you create a little title. So the format for a group is generally a discussion. So you want to ask a question, what do you think of this blog on world-class business, for instance? With the Amplify one, you can add in a little bit more details. And then when you click share, it will share to all of the groups at once. So it's really easy to get it out there in a lot of different places using the share feature. Paid LinkedIn tools via the personal profile are primarily in-mail campaigns. So in order to run an in-mail campaign, you have to have a personal profile with a premium LinkedIn account, which would either be Business Premium or Sales Navigator. Those are the two we're recommending. There are a couple of others. These will give you, I think, 15 InMail credits a month. I know that's for Business Premium. I think it might be slightly different for Sales Navigator. Each credit will allow you to send one InMail message to someone who is not a connection of yours. So this allows you basically to find prospects on LinkedIn and contact them directly. And the advantage of this, as I sort of illustrate with the arrow, is if you have a successful contact and you convert on it, then that goes directly to an acquisition, basically. You can sort of bypass the nurture stage. If it's sort of I guess what we call a soft conversion, the person wants to connect with you, but they're not necessarily interested in doing business, then you can continue to nurture that connection through Pulse. So here's an example of what sending an email would look like. So you have a couple of categories you can choose from. You have a subject line and a little message. And as they mention here on the side, if you can, and this is tough when we're doing it with our clients because we don't necessarily know what their networks are, but if you can say, for example, I see you have this connection in common with me. How do you know Tom, for example? Let's say that's his name. That will really increase your chances of getting a response from the other person. So LinkedIn likes to give you little fun tips like that, which are nice. So for company showcase pages, the primary free tool is going to be social posting. So once you have people who are following your company page or your showcase page, they will get all of your social posts sent to their newsfeed. And this is basically a way to sort of nurture that connection over time by sending out relevant, high-quality content, either from your company website or third-party content that you've curated. Now, part of this is going to be with the showcase pages. What we do with showcase pages, we use them to highlight a select product or service for the company. So, for instance, with Intrigue Media, we have one showcase page that's online marketing and another that's video advertising. Since those are sort of two main streams, I think there's opportunity in the future to break it down further. But from what I've seen, showcase pages are a little tricky because they don't often have nearly as big of a following as the company pages, like 1/10 on average. So it's much more effective to focus your efforts on the audience that's following your main company page.
Are you able to delete them yet?
Showcase pages?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Because when they first came out, you couldn't delete them or rearrange them.
That's probably when they're products and services pages, right?
No, there were showcase pages, but they just haven't worked that came out. But I'm sure they have now.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know. It's a mess. Like, you can only create 2 showcase pages a day, which is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Can
So-
you also change the order that they show up as?
Mm,
You create them?
I don't think so. I think they just show up in the order that you create them.
Yeah, that's.
So here's an example of the company page we've got for Austick. So this is James's awesome new design for Austics. And then here's a little description of their company. Here it's really important to put keywords in because they will rank within LinkedIn for the same keywords that we use for a website. So they may be slightly different. And you can put these keywords down in the specialties section where you can add there's not a limit to how many different specialties you could add, but I believe the total character limit of all of these is like 500 characters or something like that. Have to double check that. But also putting them in the description is pretty important, and making sure that the website is up to date. Because when I went in to look at this, to grab it as an example, it still said www.austickgroup.ca, which is probably pretty old. And then you can also see great organic engagement metrics to really see how your posts are performing. So LinkedIn posts, having like a 2% engagement is pretty average, I would say. Anything above that is great. But if you see stuff that's around 1% engagement, that's also within the realm of average. So I picked sort of slightly better performing post from Austic here. For paid LinkedIn tools on company showcase pages, you can run either display ads or sponsored updates. So we haven't played around with display ads that much, but it works sort of similar to the way a text ad would work on Google AdWords. I know you have image and video options on LinkedIn, but I believe you have to be something like a sponsored partner. So at present, the only kind of display ads I know how to do are text ads. And I believe Mel is running some for Amplify.
Mm-hmm. The difference between them and AdWords is they don't use keywords for bidding.
Yeah.
So you just like select your targeting based on audience.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at that because it's the same targeting platform as it is in sponsored updates. So what sponsored updates are is basically you select a post that you want to sponsor, and that will reach out to people outside the followers of your company page. So you're getting in higher up on the funnel and not only nurturing your current audience, but you're also reaching a broader one. And the one thing where we want to caution people using LinkedIn ads is, as you can see here, it is pretty expensive. So for example, this is Business Transitions Plus. For a sponsored update, anything over 0.5% engagement is pretty good from what I've seen so far. It is definitely a process as you refine targeting from month to month. But basically, we spent around $73 promoting this specific post, which equates to cost per click of about $3.20. So it's definitely more expensive than it is on Google, for instance, or it would be on Facebook even. But the idea is they are more high quality results that you're getting because it is business to business. So that's sort of where the extra value comes from.
Cool. And Melody and James, we ran some flash video ads back in the last winter, and they were super easy and great, right?
I've blocked that from my memory.
Yeah, so we did foray into the world of video and flash ads, and it was just a cluster video. It's not
Yeah.
linked directly, so that's why we don't do them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not something I've ever taken on. So this is another chart. This is just showing clicks over the course of the month for this same Business Transitions Plus campaign. So Business Transitions Plus is spending $170 a month. So two things to note here is one, what you're spending on a daily basis is always going to be approximately 20% higher than what your budget is. That's just the way LinkedIn works. So you tend to go a little bit over or a little bit under, depending on when you catch the ads and stop them. But you also have to, as you can see here, turn them on and off a lot. Because if you just run them consistently throughout the month, you're going to burn through your budget. We haven't yet figured out a way to set the bid low enough that we're still getting clicks, high enough that we're still getting clicks, but low enough that we're not burning through all the budget in, a week's time. So that's still a piece that we're sort of trying to figure out. But the really cool thing that you will also get out of running ads is click demographics throughout the time you've been running them. So this will show what target demographics are clicking on the post the most, and that will allow you to refine your targeting over time. So it's really cool having a lot of data as we sort of run LinkedIn ads more and more. We can get it way more targeted, and hopefully we'll be able to get those engagement metrics up as the result, raise the percentage.
Well, in this guy's scenario, I would imagine this is directly his target market. For Business Transition Plus, like
Yeah.
people, it's like what, 80% of people that are clicking, or 100% of people that are clicking?
Yeah, for jobs. Yeah, the one that I think doesn't apply as much is the entrepreneurship bit, because he's really looking for established business owners who are trying to get out of the business. At least that's what he's been telling us. So it's interesting because this sort of indicates that there is an interested audience here that's sort of outside what we initially thought.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, how does job function? Like, what does job function mean? Like, where does it pull entrepreneurship from?
There's a list of different categories, so I'm not entirely clear how they get them, but like other examples would be like accounting, like engineering, these would be ones. So I would imagine entrepreneurship, they probably have some sort of algorithm for sorting people into these categories based on,
Might it be based on endorsements a little bit?
it could be based on endorsements, it could be based on keywords in their summaries, personal summaries.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of owners would.
It's the exact same percentage as owners, so probably pulled from that.
Yeah,
Boom.
Yeah.
and so it's interesting, right, that entrepreneurship might not be a bad thing
Mm-hmm.
if they're using it in conjunction with an entrepreneur as an owner.
Yeah.
From a LinkedIn status, LinkedIn's a little mangled, so.
Yeah, and it raises the question of like, what kinds of owners are they targeting? Is it going to be the
At
right
least the
kind?
company sizes are, well, there's
Yeah.
some that are 11 to 50, so.
He'd said, when I talked to him, he'd said 11 to 50 was his ideal range.
Which makes sense.
So we're doing like 1 to 10, 11 to 50, and 50 to 100 to
Cool.
just get some data on the whole range and see which is performing best right now. Anyways, so ton of cool information on LinkedIn. Definitely lots more we can learn about it, but that's the Cole's Notes version, LinkedIn 201. Any questions about the stuff we've talked about?
Here's a question.
Okay.
I have a question.
Intrigue Media. Get noticed, get found.